Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Pokemon is destroyed. That's right. Palworld puts it to shame. Forget about the other Pokemon games, right? Guys, there are things that companies do well, and there are things that companies don't do well, right? And when it comes to the Pokemon franchise, we've been talking about Pokemon with guns here for a long time, haven't we? That's right. When Scarlet came out, everybody was disappointed. Everybody was talking about all its flaws. And what were the fans doing? What were the modders doing? They were making Pokemon style games with guns. But this exposes the flaw of Nintendo. One of its major flaws is that they don't listen to customers, right? They are very slow to react to the market. Now, don't get me wrong. Nintendo's a great company that produced many great games and what have you. And we're taking a look at this from the point of view of business. You have a situation here where the customers told you what they wanted. The mods for Pokemon with guns were out there, and they never executed it. All they did is shut it down, shut any mods down, because this is what they do. But the problem with that is that you're not listening to the customer. This is why companies that allow modding, for example, always have an advantage, because they have their ears on the pulse. I mean, listening to the customer is as old as when Street Fighter back in the day got modified to be faster and it became a better game, right? But you can see Pokemon here didn't do it. They kind of just got too comfortable with the franchise and just kept on rinse and repeating, not really upgrading too much, not really investing that much in the franchise. And what that allowed to do is it allowed another company to look at what the customers were asking for through the mod community, right? Saw the deficiencies of the game and then produce something new. Let me tell you guys, I didn't even think about Scarlet at all when it came out. And when the other Pokemon game came out, it didn't interest me, to tell you the truth. It just seemed like other RPGs that I had played before, just slower and less complicated. Nothing about it caught my eye. But the advantage that this Palworld has is, number one, it's on Game Pass. So I don't even have to pay for it to try it. So when you're looking at a $70 game or a $60 game that you're going to pay for, that doesn't have all the features that you want, right? That isn't Pokemon with guns. Now, they didn't have to do guns because that's not Nintendo's brand, of course, right? It's a more family-friendly company. But you could do other things. They figured it out with Splatoon. They could have done something different. Palworld is a good game. It really is a good game, and it has all the features that fans have been asking for the longest time. It's gotten to the point where you have some Nintendo fanboys out there wanting Nintendo to sue the makers of Palworld for copyright infringement. Now, there's many other elements to this game, such as crafting, of course, capturing the animals. You got your building, your towers and what have you. And it's, if I had to describe it, it's a Pokemon with guns meets Breath of Wild meets Ark, something to that effect, right? But whenever you talk about games like that and an amalgamation like that, it usually comes out wrong. But in this particular case, it came out right. I just started playing yesterday. I played yesterday night. And I was pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly surprised, number one, because I didn't have to pay anything. It's already on my Game Pass, number one. Number two, the gameplay was decent. The crafting is not that complicated. It's not that convoluted. And it has a lot of elements that customers have been asking for a while. If it came down to it, if you ask the average person out there, if you ask the average Pokemon, would they rather have a new version of Pokemon, as it exists, or would they rather have a new version of Pokemon Go? A lot of people would go with Go, right? There's much more loyalty, that the brand is much more reactive there. But when it comes to the Nintendo Switch, they just wallowed in their glories, man. They just didn't do what they were supposed to do. They produced inferior products, number one. They never fixed them. Number two. More importantly, number three, they didn't listen to the customer. This is about sales. May I remind you that this game of video games is about the money. It's always going to be about the money. It's about selling the most amount of units possible. If you have fun in the meantime, and if they produce something that, just entertains you, that's great. That's a byproduct of making money. But their number one mission of any, not only Nintendo, but any business, is to make money. And this game right here, believe you me, is going to cut into their profits. Why are you going to go pay $60, $70 for a game that doesn't have all the features you want when you could just play this on the Game Pass for free? Casual gamers are going to jump into this. And now what they have to produce, and this is the beauty of the capitalistic market, right? Because now whatever they produce, whatever upgrade they want to make to Pokemon in the future, is going to be measured up to this. Is it as good as Palworld? The answer is going to be yes or no. If it's not, it's going to be doomed to failure. It's going to be doomed to mediocrity because now customers have a choice, right? It's not going to have the Pokemon cards or what have you, at least not yet. But this thing has come out gangbusters right off the gate, and I could see why. I could see why. Because it's pretty easy to pick up and play. You don't have to be a genius. If you're familiar with the Pokemon brand, you're able to pick this up, right? If you like, Ark or Zelda or something like that, you can pick this up. It has all the traits that you're familiar with. So there's not a huge learning curve here. And the game is pretty simple as far as its instructions. Let me tell you guys, this right here is an alarm, right? This bell has been rung and it cannot be unrung. Nintendo right now, let me tell you, this might be a Sunday, but hopefully it's it's Sunday night right now in Japan. And they're having a meeting about this, right? They're looking at these numbers because that's their job, right? That's their job. If I'm a manager over there and I'm looking at my production team, I'm getting anybody up because that's why they pay them, the money that they pay them, right? If you're making $2 million a year, if your boss calls you at 2:00 in the morning, your ass is getting up, especially with this kind of emergency. Right now, as we speak, Nintendo is working on an answer to this. They have to. There is no choice. The owners of the Pokemon brand are looking at this. Everybody is looking at this that's interested in this brand. And not only in the brand, but other brands of Nintendo where they have not listened to the customers. This is a bellwether moment, let me tell you. This bell will not be unrung, but it could make the company better. All right, humans, go out and try it. If you have a Game Pass, let me tell you, it's an enjoyable game. If this is your type of game, I'm sure you're going to have a good time. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.